Perfect RIA, in case you didn't know. Bringing you all the strategies to help your business grow. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Sit back and listen in while you feel the beat, yeah. Another myth bites the dust.
Hello, TPR Nation. Welcome to another Follow-Up Friday. This is Amber Kuhn from the Perfect RIA. This episode is all about taking action, so let's recap some of the takeaways and action items from Monday's episode. On Monday, Micah met with a couple of rockstar advisors that he has known for years, Bill Harris and Jim Sonnier. Micah, Bill, and Jim were at the Ed Slott Conference, and they wanted to go over what they learned from the conference, as well as what their goals are to get out of conferences in general. This episode was jam-packed with all of the incredible information that they learned, and they went into a lot of detail and specifics on ideas and strategies that you can use and implement in your own practice. I want to recap a couple of those big takeaways. One of the big topics from the conference was HSAs, and what they found is that when hearing some of the discussion on this topic, they can immediately think about a client who has a particular issue and see how the information they're hearing can be applied directly to that client. Micah mentioned an important takeaway, which I'll share for you here. He stated that if you have a non-dependent 19-year-old who's on a family health plan, assuming the plan qualifies for an HSA, the parents can make a family HSA contribution. In addition to that, the child can make a family contribution of the full amount until they're 26 and off the parent's plan. Another big topic was digital assets and setting a beneficiary designation for iPhones. The guys discussed that receipts for healthcare expenses might be digital, and this is a great way to make sure a beneficiary can access that information. Micah mentioned the Digital Assets Act and the importance of making sure that it's incorporated into your client's estate plan, as most of the time this isn't included. So a quick tip from Monday's episode on how to set this up in your iPhone. If you go into your settings, then click on your name. From there, you can go into passwords and security. Scroll down and you'll see a place for legacy contacts. This is where you can add people so that they can access your digital assets. Moving on from some of the major topics from the conference, Micah asked Jim and Bill why they decide to come to conferences and what they're looking to get out of them. There was a general consensus that most learning happens outside of the classroom, in the hallways, with those in-between conversations. Everyone goes to a conference, especially the Ed Slott one, to learn, and this one in particular was focused on IRAs, but primarily they're coming for the networking and those interpersonal relationships. The guys shared that you learn so much more at conferences than just what that main topic is. This can lead to great friendships, and those are invaluable. Micah mentioned this is what is so great about the Perfect RIA Masterminds, because we center these events around learning plus adventure activities because they know how important those in-between conversations are. So let's recap the action items that Micah, Bill, and Jim discussed from their takeaways at the Ed Slott Conference. Micah asked, what can advisors take and learn, and what is that one thing to do going back to the office that you can then implement? For Micah, he said it was updating his checklist of the year of death and what are the things that they need to think about. He said focusing on tax planning strategies, digital asset discussions, and planning were the key. Bill said going through manuals from the conference with his team and to start to make a list for which clients this applies to. This is a great way to educate your team on what you just learned and to get them involved. For Jim, he had a couple of great takeaways related to HSAs. First was looking at clients who are over the age of 59 and a half, and if they have an HSA and are funding it through their own. The other was in a year that a client turns 65, paying attention to the month that they go on Medicare and taking into account excess contribution. To wrap up, Micah said it's important to remember the dishwasher rule. It's not just enough to say what you gain from these conferences. It's important to make sure that you share information with your clients. He said make sure that you're talking to your clients and educating them as well. Communicate with them on what information you are learning. Lastly, Micah mentioned the importance of having a group of people to talk to at a conference to recap what you've learned. And of course, the friendships that you make in those in-between conversations are invaluable. And for our last action item, be sure to give us 5 stars wherever you're listening to us so we can continue to grow this community. Thank you so much for joining me today, and until next time, happy planning.
Hold on before we go. Something that you need to know. This isn't tax, legal, or investment advice. That isn't our intent. Information designed to change lives. Financial planning can make you thrive. Start today, don't think twice.